Hello, hello, my independent nomads. Welcome to the Nomads Fantasy, episode 51. I am Dave. I will be guiding you through the episode this week to hype up some indie games that we have all recently played. I am here with Brandon.
Hello.
No quotes.
Good old-fashioned hello.
It works. I'm here with Eric.
I'm ready to talk some indie games.
Hey, and special guests. Preston from the Level Zero podcast.
Olija. Oh, wait. No. Hello.
Better day. Nice. Yeah, we're going through some of our favorite indie games that we played recently. They don't have to be new. They don't have to be super hot or fresh. But, you know, we like to...
Something we wanted to highlight, you know.
Indie podcasts, you know, everybody needs some indie love. So, before we get into all that stuff, we always give the rundown of what we're going through. And I'm going to say, first, let's let our special guest go first. Preston.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and give us a little breakdown of what Level Zero is?
Yeah, Level Zero, we're a podcast that covers just sort of concepts of video games. Originally conceived as like people that don't know much about video games could learn about games, but then we pretty much immediately had to expand that concept because if you know about games, you know about games. If you don't play games, you don't care to learn about games. So it was sort of
good point.
That was our expansion from the niche. And so we just kind of talk about a variety of topics within games. So we've talked about the history of the Legend of Zelda series, the history of Sega.
Nice.
Recently, I did an episode on just what are meta narratives and talking about like meta narratives within video games, things like that. We'll do one-off. What are your favorite Sega games kind of thing.
Cool.
It's, you know, we put out content just very sort of irregularly whenever we're feeling up to it and feeling like we want to go through the editing process. But we are on all podcast places.
Nice.
And yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, have you been playing or watching anything either for your free time or for the podcast?
I recently got done listening to this show about a game called BioShock. A very good episode.
It's a good game.
It was a good game, and I learned a lot. But other than that, I have been watching. I've been playing, of course, my indie game today. But on top of that, Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. I've recently gotten back into it.
Wrath of the Righteous.
And if you are a CRPG fan with Pillars of Eternity, Divinity Original Sin, anything like that. Okay. The Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous
Dave's language.
Yeah, that's definitely Dave.
Now.
Yeah,
it is the
is
newest
this, Pathfinder, the D&D system.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
it's all based on those systems, and it is. This one is 100 and something hours. The one reviewer that I really distinctly remember said that they were 100 and something hours in, and they hadn't beaten it yet. And that's of course with side content and stuff, but nice. But they still said it felt meaningful, and that's sort of been my case. I think I'm about 20 hours in, and everything seems meaningful. And I'm barely out of the prologue, from really what I understand. Exploring, I just now got like the open world, well, not open world map, but you know, in CRPGs you have the overworld map, I guess I should say. I've just gotten access to that. And so I'm pretty early on exploring that, but it's very, very good. If you like D&D, Pathfinder, CRPGs, it is
it's got that top-down
play.
Baldur's Gate kind of look to it.
Yeah.
What's the C
made by
stand for?
Computer
RPG.
Yeah,
it's like
it's a lot more. It's a lot more straightforward than it seems.
Okay.
Is this
because a Russian studio, Owlcat Games? It's like less than a year old though. Only came out September of 2021.
Yeah, they did the whole like early access thing for a little while, and then did a full release, and seemed to get. They really do listen to sort of the fans as part of like their development, and they're quick on bug fixes. It ran like. It ran horribly whenever I first got it. The first opening town, everything's on fire, and that fire would just tank your PC so quickly.
That'll happen.
And they've really kind of fixed a lot of that and made that much better. So it's been good.
Oh,
it
sweet.
Looks like Diablo. And
it does.
Can you move the camera, or is it fixed?
You can the one thing that I want is to be able to zoom out just a little bit further, but you can turn it and zoom in and out.
Okay.
It doesn't have the action like you would in Diablo. You can choose. One of the coolest things, in my opinion, about this one versus other CRPGs is you can choose between turn-based or real-time with pause combat. So, the old school ones, you just kind of like click on the enemy and they all swarm them and just kind of bat at them with their stabs or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one, you can, in combat, like even in the middle of a fight, you can just hit a button and it'll change to turn-based where you can choose
like
their individual
XCOM.
attacks and stuff like that.
Oh, that is really cool.
Oh, okay.
Very, very modern way at looking at that and being able to just switch back and forth. I'm impressed that it's available at all, much less that it works really well.
It's on, I'm looking here. It's on PlayStation, Xbox, Windows, and Mac. So looks like it's everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So that's fantastic. That's cool.
Yeah.
You have my attention now.
Good. Yeah,
you been
definitely
playing
check it
anything
out. A lot of Valorant all the time. That has ruled my life for the last year and a half.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is this that game that looks like Overwatch, but it's only on computers?
Yeah, yeah, kind
Dude,
of.
that's like that's Riot Games.
Counter-Strike / Overwatch, sort of.
Yeah.
I want to play that game so bad. Put it on a fucking console, you assholes. God damn it. There's no reason for this. There's no reason for it. I will buy it.
Well, I think it's free.
It'll never, because it's by Riot, who of course made League of Legends, and they've never put that on console. So I doubt it.
Don't get your hopes up.
Which is crazy because League of Legends would make so much money on console.
Yeah, I wonder if I could play their games on my Mac. Probably can. Maybe I should just, I don't know. I use it to design. I don't use it to fucking play games, but okay. Yeah. Well, that's cool. You like that game?
A lot. Too much. I spent, it's one of the games where, it's free to play except for the skins.
Yeah.
Ooh, buddy. Too much money on like just a skin that I'll use once or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the only game I've ever been like that with. It's the only game I've ever invested in cosmetics for, or anything like that. And it got me, way too much, but it's fast. It's somewhat fast paced. There's a really, really good esports scene built around it with a lot of production value, and it's kind of going year round. So you always have something to watch. Again, never been an esports fan, but this one has me fully invested. Where like, let's go the guard. That's my team. Yeah, I've got a team that I care about that I want to see win, and so I've been all into that. And that's something else that I've been watching recently. One of their big tournaments just ended.
Okay,
nice.
Definitely check it out if you can.
Cool.
Both of them.
I was gonna say, add them to the list.
Yeah.
Let's jump over to Eric. What have you been up to?
Mine's gonna be pretty short. I've mostly been focusing on my indie games this week, and now that I'm finally getting over this sickness, I can finally get back to some other stuff outside of focusing on that. But I haven't really done a whole lot. We played some more Overwatch over the weekend, which was fun. I'm starting to get into Overwatch. I'm getting that itch. You guys are pulling me in. So it's been fun. I mean, I've never really been like an online multiplayer, especially shooter guy, but Overwatch is something special. So it's been pulling me in, and I definitely want to play some more.
Well, while we're on the topic, I guess, real quick, because that's kind of what I wanted to talk about too, because I've been focused on indie games too. The only thing we've ever, other than that, we played was Overwatch, and they just released the Overwatch 2 beta this week with some tweaks and changes that I'm sure you guys will all love every single one of them. I just had a couple here I wanted to list for you to see if they strike your fancy. Going from 6v6 teams down to 5v5.
I think that's bonkers because I think that the game is perfect. It's truly like one of my favorite games of all time, and I think it's so balanced. So I'm curious.
So they had 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 healers before. They're removing a tank, so you only get 1 tank now, which is kind of
okay. I actually like that. I think that makes sense. If you're gonna take one out, definitely the tank.
And they're nerfing Bastion. I'm sure Brandon will be sad about that.
Yeah,
I know. God damn it!
I got a couple. They only have 1 new character, 4 new maps. The new character looks pretty cool. Sojourn. they did a lot of like gutting of characters and like redoing all their abilities and stuff like that. Your favorite Bastion, Brandon. He's gaining the ability to move in turret form. Which is interesting.
But his turret's probably much weaker.
Turret's on a time down, I believe, now, so you can't just sit there and just mow through people. He's gaining a new ability that fires sticky bombs and losing the power to self-repair.
No, but he has shit.
Very
also,
important.
They're getting rid of his super too, and he's going into
the super sucks.
Launching 3 targeted artillery blasts that rain down on opponents. So it sounds like he's got like a mortar kind of strike.
Like Farah.
Sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, they got a new game mode, Push, where there's like a tug of war. There's a guy in the middle of the map, and you got to like push him to the other side of the map, basically.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting. They added a ping system, which I think
about time.
Have they not had one in 1?
No, you think they would, but
That's
that came
out like
that was Apex
7 years ago.
That, so
Yeah.
And now they only have one character that has a shield. Reinhardt. It's back to like just Reinhardt with the shield.
No, you got Winston has a shield and Zarya.
Not anymore, apparently.
I think they're getting.
I have a Zarya figurine, and that's why I like her, because she can put a shield on herself, or she can put a shield on somebody else,
I didn't go through the changes for everybody.
Touch
but,
her.
Or I know Orisa they gutted and changed.
The good news is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they're forcing people to go, like once Overwatch 2 launches, I don't think they're forcing people. They're still going to have Overwatch 1. So I don't. I think
that's what they said.
Sure they're going to keep them both separate platforms.
I don't know. I think because I know that you don't have to buy Overwatch 2.
That's because it's all
if
single
you own
player.
one.
No, yeah.
Well, the paid stuff
you get the PvP upgrade.
The paid stuff is the single player for Overwatch 2,
which will be down the road,
right? And then everything else is free. Yeah, I guess I don't know the exact roadmap for that, but
my guess is that it's going to trickle down.
I mean, they update these characters all the time. Like Mercy has been changed a lot. So this is the thing about Overwatch, is they're constantly balancing these characters, and the game's really balanced, but sometimes it's for the better. Some things they've done that I didn't agree with, but this is just common with Overwatch, is nothing lasts forever.
I don't know. The Overwatch 2 is the most confusing concept to me. Like a sequel to a service,
launch.
Play. Yeah, it's just weird.
Like even when they change just like one character, like Preston, I'm sure this is the same in Valorant. Like it changes like the whole meta of the game sometimes when just like one character has a move changed or something like that, or
Yeah.
So
they changed a character's dash ability to be like you activate it, then you have to reactivate it. And man, the people in voice chat are salty about it. It has kind of like for a lot of people taken that character out of their roster, and it's changed the lineup for that character dashing in and making room for you as you move in. And meta can vary drastically just by one movement change on one character.
And here they're changing a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm sure they're tweaking maps, and there's a lot of the same maps, but I guess they're all upgraded to the new engine. So they'll probably look a little prettier. Hopefully run a little better.
They have the arcade mode with Overwatch where they have some legacy things in there. I don't know if they have legacy abilities, but they have legacy kind of game modes. I'd be curious if they would have options to play.
They bring with it
Overwatch 1, where this is where we had them like that, and then drastic changes.
I don't know. I just imagine the Overwatch community being really upset if they just all of a sudden flip the switch from Overwatch to Overwatch 2 and they made all these changes. That's just my thoughts.
Sometimes when they make changes like that, the fans are part of it, like they kind of like approve some of this. Sometimes I don't know if they're doing that. Were they getting some key fans?
They're talking to them, because one of the crazy things I was thinking about the change from 6-6 to 5v5 is like they have the Overwatch League and they have teams of 6 dudes on all those teams. Yeah. So what do you say to like the one guy, like, sorry, buddy, you're the tank player. Like, hit the bricks. Like, I don't know. Like, that's
benched.
Second string.
Second string.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're out of here.
My wrist is good. You know that it's not better than Steve's Reinhardt. My wrist is good. You told me at the bar, man. You lied to me. Yeah, there's going to be some drama in the Overwatch teams.
So that's it's crazy. There's a giant like 8-minute announcement trailer that I haven't watched yet.
Okay, I'll have to check.
It's like
that
one
out.
of those sweet ass Overwatch cinematics that they put together.
They're so good.
They
High quality.
super good. So
It's fun.
sorry, I jumped in there. I wanted to cover Overwatch.
No, I really didn't have
Chatting on
anything
it.
else. I haven't been doing much else. Hopefully this weekend I can kind of get back to some more games and start watching some stuff. But that was all I had. Brandon, what about you?
Ooh, Eric.
Yeah, I want to hear
Guess-
what you got for me.
That's
So
why I saved them for last.
I finally got around to watching Barry.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's great.
What do you think?
Hell yeah.
I've only
So
watched
far.
2 episodes, and I already
Dude.
know.
Oh, what?
Because I didn't want to binge watch it. Because I watched 2 episodes the other night, and I'm like, that was fucking awesome. From the opening scene, I knew too. Just
Dude,
I like
it's
the
so
character.
fucking good.
I like where it's going, because I told you how I like Mr. In Between, where he's like he's a hitman.
It's
And
got that Breaking Bad like type thing where he's living this double life, and I love that. This is the best show. Barry is the best show I've seen since
I
Breaking
can
Bad.
see why, and I like that he wrote the character. He started the character. You just know that it's what he wants it to be. I guess he's
I
getting
haven't
a lot of
jumped into the
attention.
latest season yet. I want to rewatch
Okay.
the first.
Dave, do you
2
know
before
anything
I
about
go
it?
into season 3.
I think I started it and I fell off, and I don't know.
So
I got
good.
Oh, okay.
I think I tried starting it with the wife, and she fell asleep, and I was just like, all right, well, this got some good Henry Winkler in there. I don't know how long
Henry Winkler's good.
how
Yep.
long he's in there or what goes on there, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know if
But
anybody
the-
else knows about it. I mean, Preston, you reacted. You seem
Oh, yeah.
to.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. So he's like a hitman. He's apparently he's like a former soldier from like, I don't know, Afghanistan war or something like that, and he came back to the United States and he's trained but doesn't know what to do. He's like a drifter, and he uses his skills to take out bad people, or so he thinks. And
But
while he's on a
he has a
but while he's
dream.
but he's also like, just like I said, he's drifting through life, and he feels like maybe there's more to my life. He's kind of depressed, and then he somehow goes on this gig out in Hollywood, and he's supposed to kill like this actor dude, but it's so stupid. But he ends up on stage, and even though he's horrible at acting, he's like, I kind of want to do this, and it's weird because he's supposed to be whacking people, but he's also,
Yeah, I mean, he's a hitman. He's a hitman with a heart of gold. Like
Aw.
he's a good
I feel like
guy.
I was never a huge fan of Bill Hader before, but Barry like propelled me into definitely a big fan of him now.
I like
so
dark
great in it.
comedies. And this
Yeah,
is
it's
exactly a dark comedy.
There's some funny moments, but there's also some great dramatic, serious
Yeah.
moments too. Yeah,
I think that's has some of the most emotional weight of any comedy in the past 10 years. Like,
Okay.
I don't know
okay.
if you like, oh my gosh, what was it? Like The Good Place had a lot of really good dramatic moments, and
yeah, I'm a big fan of Good Place. I watched all that.
but it just doesn't even hold a candle to like the heaviness and the weight of some of the scenes that, again, Bill Hader is able to pull off right after this almost like slapstick brutal murder scene, or whatever
Right.
he has just gone through. It is always so silly in such a dark fashion, and then he'll just turn around and give you one of the heaviest scenes you've ever seen. It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
it's very
I
good.
can't wait.
I would
Well-
suggest just running through it. Like, don't.
That's what I
don't
did.
Stop
That's what I
until
wanna do.
right- Yeah.
Just
That's what I
yeah.
did with the
binge
last
it.
show that was like this. It was called Mr. In Between. It's an Australian story about a guy who's a dad who's also a hitman. I watched it on Hulu, and I thought it was incredible. So
Mm.
Eric
very-
was like, if you like
very
that, you should see
bingeable
Barry.
show.
I'm like, okay.
I'll
Very
have to look
yeah.
that one up.
Yep.
It's cool to see those comedic actors get their like dramatic break too, and go well too.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, the guy on HBO, he's everywhere. I can't think of his name right now. He's funny, but The Righteous Gemstones. It's on HBO.
Yeah. That's a
And
wild show.
That's great, man. I got to see the new season. My wife and I watched that, and we're like, this is really good. It's stupid comedy, but it has like some heart in there, and it's a drama. It's like a dramedy. I don't know. I love shit like that.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Well,
All right. Well, I think that wraps up Act 1. So Why don't we take a quick break and we'll gear up to talk about some indie games right after this. And we are back for Act 2 to discuss some indie games. Some of our favorites, some hidden gems that hopefully you haven't found. But before we do, let's get the haps on the socials, Eric.
Yeah, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. I just kind of put out...
Tell a friend.
What?
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend, yes. Always tell a friend. Threw me off there. I just kind of put out something on social, said we were recording tonight talking about indie games, said what are some of your favorite indie games of recent years. The only one who responded, as always, Jake Iveson, our good buddy. He said Terraria is my favorite of all time, which is really good. Yeah. When it started out, I played so much, then obviously as expressed on your earlier episodes, I have a fondness for Stardew Valley for sure, which is also a great one. And of course he's referring to, this was all the way back on episode 10, our top 15 favorite indie video games we talked about. Nice. That was an early one. So we have...
Terraria is a good choice.
Yeah.
Because that one, it's deceptively deep. Yeah. Like you start going down and all of a sudden, like 5 hours later, you've got eyeballs shooting lasers following you around and all sorts of wacky shit going on.
Yeah, I played a good chunk of Terraria a long time ago. And of course, Stardew Valley is like indie darling classic, modern classic.
Nice. So, I guess before we get into chatting, I guess we always say indie game, indie game, indie game. I got a little Wikipedia page pulled up for that specific topic, just so we can define kind of what we're laying out here. Indie games are video games typically created by individuals or smaller development teams without financial and technical support of large publishers. Lately, it seems like they've gotten into a weird space where like indie studios get scooped up by bigger publishers, but they still keep their
that's what happened to mine
creative freedom.
When I did my research, I didn't realize until after. I think that's what happened to mine.
Same.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. It happens. I mean, I guess if you're getting scooped up, that means you're doing something right and you're putting out some good stuff. But
yeah,
indie games usually are a little more innovative. They usually have some experimental gameplay. There's something usually there's something tricky to them that, like, you know, if you're building like a $60 million AAA game, like, you're not going to take those chances. You're just going to put out like a shooter.
I mean, the magic of indie games is it's the developers get to make what they want to make. You know, it's not like executives telling them what to make and what's going to make money. It's not about money. It's about the passion for developing the game that they want to make.
So yeah, really exploring the medium, putting some cool experiences out there. So I guess let's get started. Let's talk about our first game, and let me flip a coin here. And landed on Brandon.
A 3-sided coin.
It's a 3-sided coin too.
And we didn't even call, our sides or anything.
Nope. I
it has our faces on it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's magical, and it just goes to the person that chooses, and it's chosen me.
Yes.
My game is called State of Mind. And
haven't heard of this one.
I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is, so I'm excited to hear about it.
It came out in 2018. It was developed and published by Daedalic Entertainment. They have since been purchased by a bigger publisher I'm not really familiar with, but they are from Germany. And this game actually takes place in Germany. It takes place in Berlin. It takes place in the future. So I'll just say, the price of it is up and down. I got it on sale for, I think, like $10, maybe $15. I think right now I saw it for $20. It's on everything. I think it just came to Switch like maybe last year.
When did this come out?
2018.
Okay, nice.
And it is a 3D version of a 2D click,
Like a point and click
game.
adventure
Like
game.
adventure game?
Adventure
Okay,
game.
Nice.
It's basically what it is. I wouldn't say it's a walking simulator, but the gameplay definitely takes a back seat. So the
What kind of visuals are we looking
yeah,
at?
so the
Is it-
setting is Blade Runner meets The Matrix meets I don't know, like Minority Report. How far do I go with this? So because the gameplay all right, like I said, gameplay takes a back seat, but what's cool, the visuals they look like they're mid 90s, late 90s, low polygon kind of aesthetics to the characters in the world.
Cool.
So if you look up State of Mind, you'll see this art direction, and it's 60 frames a second, butter smooth, but they push the graphics as much as they can with these limitations, this art style that they've gone with. It looks like it would have played on Sega Saturn or something, you know?
Yeah, it looks.
I
pretty
love the
cool.
retro, like
Low
low
poly.
look.
Yeah, and it works well with the theme of this game. It's more of an interactive movie, really. It's third person. You're playing this character, Richard Nolan, for the most part, but you can switch between him and other characters throughout different things that happen in the story. And it's a mystery. So I'll just tease you guys a little bit with the story, and then I encourage people to play it through. I do recommend this game. I'm going to give it, like an 8.5 probably.
Oh wow.
Knowing the genre, like if you like Call of Duty and Call of Duty only, then you would give this a 2. But if you like games that are more casual, really good story, fun acting, the puzzles are different enough to keep you going 10 to 12 hours, I think this game's for you. But yeah,
10 to 12 hours. Wow, that's long for an indie game.
Much longer than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, and it's, these guys have been doing it for a while, making their own games and publishing them, so they've done well for themselves. So they did have a big crew. But the way the audio kind of goes in this game, it's kind of clunky.
Is it voice acted?
Oh, yeah, and you guys are going to laugh at this. So one of the big reasons why I don't play the Witcher games, is because of the voice actor.
Brandon hates Geralt's voice.
Really?
Doug Cockle, I guess is the guy's name.
Is that your guy?
Sure. Is he in this one?
Is this the voice of the...
He's the voice of the main character.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Is he doing the same
I
voice?
was going to say, did you
He
know
should
it
talk
right
like
off the
this.
bat?
It's just always like this.
Did you recognize
What are you
it?
doing? Oh, it's so cheesy, but I feel like I didn't mind him in this role. But anyways, yeah, so he's playing this character, Richard Nolan. He's a journalist, 2048 or something like that. Maybe a little bit after that, I don't know. But that's like where this takes place. And like I said, it's Blade Runner. And you just kind of start where he had an accident. He has amnesia. Doesn't know what happened. And his wife and kid are missing.
Typical video game start.
The game is gorgeous, though. It's gorgeous. Just to play from beginning to end. Like I said, if you play the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out, the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy game,
So good.
it's just beautiful from beginning to end. You don't see the same thing over and over. This game, a little bit in the first act, but once it gets going, you're just it's a ride. So I liken it more to the Blade Runner 2, like the sequel, the second one. It's kind of like that. It gave me those vibes with heavy Matrix stuff later on. But that's it. That's the mystery. He's just got to find his wife and kid. And
What's the moment to moment gameplay kind of like? If you're sitting down playing this, is it? So you said it's kind of slow, right? You're kind of. Are you like picking things out of like a scene? How are you progressing in the game?
Right. Yeah. So there are some cutscenes. There's a lot of dialogue. It's kind of like Mass Effect without any of the action.
Okay. So are you making
story-driven
choices
puzzles.
and stuff?
You do make choices.
Conversations?
Yeah,
Okay.
and ultimately at the end of the game, you do make some choices. I do like the ending. I do feel like it was worth going to the end. It really does turn into not a thriller, but there's just way more going on in the second half of this game. But the first half, maybe even the first third, it's fairly slow. but you're just soaking in the visuals. You're working on this mystery. You're trying to learn more about the character. There's androids around. There's really cool tech in this game too. Like they just had fun with it. Like Fifth Element. So like Richard Nolan, he won a Pulitzer Prize award. That's what he like, kind of like a celebrity. And you don't like technology. And there's like, they called it Drone Gate, where like all these drones were just spying on people. And him and like his buddy at the paper he was working for exposed this. So it was like a big deal. So he's just famous for that. But anyway, so they like the world has like this really cool technology, and they'll have like these machines, these droids will just have ads to just stop in front of your window at your house, and then it'll just go away. It's very Fifth Element.
Yeah.
And he hates it. He hates technology. And the big second half of the story is that there's this AI world, like the Matrix, where people are being uploaded into this other world. So it's just kind of like, he doesn't like that people are doing this. So I don't know. But I don't want to give anything else away, but that's the world. The technology is really cool. There's actually like little things too. All right, one scene. And then I'm done. Then we can stop and go to the next person. But you play one of the other characters, and her story is really cool. And because it's in the future, she's like on this date or whatever. And before the date shows up, she like tries to turn on something, and the house is all rigged. Everything's smart now. The shades, the dishwasher, everything is just connected to the computer. You just talk to like Alexa or whatever. And when she did something, everything goes crazy. She's like, oh God, not in front of a date. Like, this is embarrassing. So one of the puzzles in the game is going around and kind of more or less adjusting the settings till each individual appliance is working. And one of them is like a drone, like a robot vacuum guy on the floor, and he's just zipping around. They have cute little droids like this, and he's just going crazy, crashing into the walls. It's a very cute scene in a fairly dramatic game, but I don't know. It got me, so I would recommend this game if you like story-driven, light puzzles. Good couple game probably if you want to do like a Blade Runner night but play a game. State of Mind.
Nice. Yeah, I mean the setting sounds interesting enough,
and it's beautiful. Like I would play it again just to see it again.
Don't give away anything, but is like, is the story payoff kind of worth it to see it through to the end?
I think so. I couldn't predict anything, and then once things started clicking and I started unraveling the mystery of what's going on, yeah, I think it did, and I think it does fairly well with the ratings, because I saw that some of the critics were kind of harsh on it, but the fans the people who actually played it seem to enjoy it and say, I'm glad that I actually played this to the end. And it's a shame to even get any kind of content out there. Like there's nothing. I went to GameFAQs.com to see what people are saying on that board. That usually has almost everybody there. And there was one post on the board for that game. And it said, this is the title. Really? ? I clicked on it and it said, seriously, nobody has anything to say about this game. It's a great story and I'm glad I played it, and I wish it. I was just like, so if you go to GameFAQs, you'll see this person, and it's like, I felt the same way. So it's cool. I would recommend it if you want to do something chill.
Nice. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten more, being a couple years old too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow,
but
it just didn't catch on.
Begging to be on Game Pass. It needs to be on Game Pass.
I'm kind of surprised that I thought that it was.
Sounds like a perfect Game Pass game.
For the second half of the game, whenever you go, well, I don't know if you actually go into this place, but for the second half of the game, does it allow for more surreal gameplay experience? Like the sort of the apartment going around and messing with the appliances and stuff sounds a little mundane, probably purposefully so, right? In order to ground you into that reality that she's living in. But like whenever they do put you into that almost Matrix-like world, does the gameplay and the puzzles, do they get weirder and more surreal at all?
Yeah, it's weird. Right. So one of the characters you play is it's mirrored. They introduce this early in the game where there's another guy who's living in a fairly prettier, more optimistic future world that's similar to you, and you're playing both characters back and forth as you progress through the story. And he's in this alternate reality. Mild spoiler, but like that's who this guy is. He's VR, and the other guy, Richard Nolan, is not. He's like in the real world. But when you are playing the other guy, Adam, you're walking around and exploring stuff. You can do some kind of fun stuff. Like you go to an art exhibit to meet your wife, and she's just like, "Hey, check it out," and you can just the camera changes and you become these things. You can start painting the area. Okay, it's not really a puzzle, but you can pick colors and just kind of adjust the environment. When you're in your apartment, there's cool technology, like I said, so you can turn on holograms to help your kid go to sleep, and there'll be fish going through the room or something like that. You can listen to the news, though. You can, it sounds mundane, but you can do stuff with flying droids and stuff like that. They try to make it more grounded, kind of like the Matrix is, where not everybody can fly, but Neo can fly, but not everybody knows that he can do that. And I got to be careful with talking anymore about the world, but it's small, it's indie, so like surprise, there's limitations to an indie game. I think they do an incredible job with what they had.
It's weird to see they made this in Unreal Engine 4 too, because
it's beautiful.
You got so many tools to use there, and they went with that art style and stuck to it. So that's cool. It looks like it's out on
everything.
PS4, Switch, Xbox, Windows, classic Mac.
Yeah, Daedalic Entertainment is who made it, and you look back and you'll see other games that I think are on Game Pass, but that they've made that did well.
Everything is possible. Nothing is out of reach. Be whoever you want, and what you want. Doubt and limits are just illusions.
They scan everything. Do you understand? Everything that bots, drones, cabs, and HoloLenses see and hear, sense and do? You can reconstruct anyone's life with all that information. You can create a whole simulated world.
At the moment, we're uploading 750 people a day that want to build a better world. As you know, our project has entered a decisive phase. We are on the brink of success, the beginning of a new civilization.
Cool. Nice. All right. Well, thank you for your contribution here. That was a nice recommendation. Let me check that one out. Let's jump over. Let me flip this coin again.
Hey, it landed on me this time. Wow.
Schedule. What do we get?
I think I spoiled this a little bit earlier today, earlier in the recording, but a little indie game, Olija.
Olija.
It's just constantly saying that throughout, but it's called Olija, Olija. And it is by Skeleton Crew Studios. It looks like the sort of lead developer. I don't know if it was more specifically him, and then it expanded after maybe Skeleton Crew came in and like assisted him. I'm not really sure how that relationship actually works, but this guy, Thomas Olsen, seems to be the main developer for it. It's available on Game Pass, so find it there, but it's also available on Steam, itch, Switch. By the way, for anyone wondering, for indie games, itch is absolutely the platform you would want to use to download or buy indie games. They get, I can't remember the revenue difference, but it's something like 20% difference between the purchase. Yeah, it's a considerable price cut that the developer actually gets from itch versus Steam. So just future reference, but I honestly forget that all the time and buy stuff off of Switch or Steam regularly. But Olija, back to Olija. It is a side-scrolling action adventure game that has this I don't know what time period you'd say, like the 1700s, 1600s new world exploration kind of setting to it, but with this dark, grim fantasy evil that's permeating out of the wilds and the world that this guy is exploring. And
this guy, Faraday. That's like the only words they say in the game is Faraday.
Everyone has, so there is no dialogue except for Olija and Faraday, which Olija is like a seeming like a princess. It's an Eastern setting that she's from. She's worshipped as having some powers, and he's connected to her in some way. That I still don't entirely understand that full connection. I still have not beaten it, unfortunately, but it's something that I absolutely will be beating, and I'm super excited to. Either way, their names are the only names ever spoken. Other than that, there is no dialogue. It's just people going, and it's great. It all feeds into that grimdark sort of weird, unspoken unease atmosphere that permeates this entire game, and it works really, really well. And that
it's a very
helps.
Unsettling game.
It's done in like that old school. Now I don't want to say 8-bit, but it's like I don't know how to describe.
It's
the art,
pixel art, I guess.
Yeah,
pixel art. Yeah,
it's very
pixel animation,
simple
like
pixel
1988. Like
because it isn't all.
Right?
It's almost
like,
not
it's
8-bit,
smooth.
right? But it's like the character models are specifically down to like the original Mario level.
Yeah,
in terms
very
of detail.
minimalistic.
Yeah.
But it works.
It works really well.
But yeah, they got all sorts of cool environments. The spear that you get, that's kind of like I guess the main gameplay thing of it. You do all sorts of cool stuff, and I played it when it came out on Game Pass because that's how I find a lot of these indie ones.
I know Dave beat it. I
thought it was great.
I played a decent chunk of it, maybe like 2 or 3 hours. I never finished it, but
I think
but I had a good time when I did play it.
And one of the biggest selling points of the game is, as far as I can tell, it's definitely under 8 hours. It might even be under 6. So it's easy to get through. It's pretty quick. 8. You never feel, while there are moments where you'll be fighting a boss that get a little tense and pretty close in the combat, you never feel like anything's insurmountable in any sense of the word. Like the basic enemies you'll kind of fly through in a way that makes you feel very powerful and very cool, because it's not necessarily about the difficulty of the combat. It's if you want to make the combat stylish with the spear it's got a shotgun in it. So, I mean, it's already an awesome game. It's just like blows the enemies away. You can kind of like stylize your combat in the way that you would want to make it interesting, or as interesting as you want to make it.
I always thought the combat felt really good.
Yeah.
Like the hits feel really good. Feel really chunky, like you're doing some damage. But yeah, that was definitely one thing I noticed about the game when I was playing it, is that every time you hit an enemy, it felt good, which I feel like if combat is the main focus of a game, it has to feel good.
Yeah. And you'll get through arenas. You might even explore like part of an area without ever seeing an enemy, which I kind of like that in a game like this, where whenever you are fighting, it's very frenetic. It's very fast paced. But whenever you have time to quiet down and explore, whenever it does quiet down, it seems to really pace itself well and give thought to the setting that you are exploring, even though it is that 8-bit, the pixel art, very simplistic. I think one of the ways that it distinguishes itself within that pixel art aesthetic is the writhing masses of like the evil smoke that is coming out. And I guess that's not super unique in terms of its aesthetic, but it works. They do such a good job. And sometimes they'll just pan out and pan back, and you'll get sort of to take in the full scope of
I like when games
bridge.
do that.
Yeah. And you feel small in a vast world, even though, again, it's pretty simple art style. It's totally, there's a lot that I could go through in terms of like we were saying, the combat. The combat is simple and straightforward. You're just hitting some buttons. There's no like combo system or anything like that. But that doesn't mean it's not fun. It just means it's more.
Yeah, they've got some cool puzzles. Some of the puzzles that they bake in with like the teleporting.
Yes.
Like, you can teleport to your spear, or the spear can teleport to you.
Yeah, you can throw the spear to hit certain surfaces and then teleport to it. And that works as, traversal puzzles, where if you've played, what is the game with the pink-haired girl that climbs up the mountain? That's so
Celeste.
good. Celeste. Yes.
Yes.
Where you can zip over to a diamond and kind of like jump off of that and use it to keep propelling yourself. You can do that with your spear, but you also have to aim the spear every time you do it. And it's never nearly as intense or as involved as Celeste, but it still feels just as good as you're doing it.
Okay.
It feels responsive. It feels quick.
Is this a hard game
No,
to play?
not really.
Or is this more of a casual person could get through this game?
Yeah. If you do fail, there will be a series of things that you need to jump over spikes, and you'll fall into the spikes, and it'll just jump you right back to the platform you were on with minimal damage.
I love when games do that, because
it presents itself as more intimidating than it actually
Yeah,
is.
it absolutely does.
The setting and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the things because the setting is so short, it's really broken up or the game is so short, it's broken up into 3 main chunks where you're looking for a blue key in each chunk. And whenever you get all through blue keys, you get to go to the final chunk. And like, if I'm going to boil it down to the most basic form of what you are doing in that game, that's what you're doing. And each one of those blue key chunks is maybe 20 to 30 minutes, where you're able to explore different land masses on the map. And it just feels like you are consistently making progress. And when a new portion of the map opens up, you're not like, ah, shit, here we go. Another 5 hours of a new area where, like Ghost of Tsushima, whenever the second area of that map opens up, it is the most intimidating landmass where you're just like, it's cool. Is. Like I'm excited. I get to be part of this game.
It's got all that fucking fog. And you're just like menacing. It's like, this looks like a place of death.
Yeah. And it's just like, I'm going to be here. Here's another 40 hours, right? Where
dude.
Of landmark walking. And I'm glad to be in that world more. But this game, it's like when a new portion of the map opens up, it's little 20-minute chunks, maybe 3 of those in each lane. It's perfectly paced.
So with a game like this, like with the art style, they're going for a very specific look, very retro. How's the music in the background? Is it like actually like soothing? Like I've played games that look like this, like Kingdom, right, Dave? Like that music, I can work to that.
That game was good.
Music it has the same look, but that music is fantastic. This game, I haven't played it, but it looks like I'm hoping it has that nice retro music in the background.
It's funny because we were talking about this earlier, like what track would stand out to you? What track could I recommend to you to put backing? And I don't, off the top of my head, like I could not tell you what the music even sounds like. And what I think it is they really have it very subdued. It's quiet. Okay. It's meditative until you get into combat. And once you're in combat, you're focused on the combat enough to where you're not noticing it. But I do believe that it like swells and carries you through, and it does a really good job of, making the pace of the combat feel a lot faster and more intense than it is. So I think it has that element to it, but you don't even
if I remember,
recognize it.
It's more atmospheric as you're kind of going through the game.
That's the trend, I think, in a lot of indie games. It is more atmospheric, because that's how it is with the game I was playing. It was just like this piano, jazzy fucking Blade Runner stuff in the background. So yeah, I love that kind of stuff though. Like I love background stuff because if it's made for me to play this game and it's background music for a game, it could be background music for my work.
If you,
that's my logic.
I think it does a good job if you don't notice it, if it fits well into the universe that you're playing. But if you do notice it and you're like, this sounds weird and out of place, then they did something wrong.
Because like back in like the Nintendo days, it was like the same song on
it's
repeat.
just chip
It had to be a good
loops, like 8
tune,
second loops. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that like I think they focus more on the wind rustling the leaves as you come up to a section that has, I don't know, some trees that frame a new doorway, and they just kind of like have that come through. And so the sound effects will just sort of like build you into the world that you're in. They want you to focus a lot more on that rather than the music, which again, I think it works in some games, doesn't work in some. It does really support the atmosphere here. But that being said, I couldn't tell you what the soundtrack I don't even know if it's chiptune. I don't know if it's orchestral. I have no idea.
I thought I remember it being like Japanesey string instruments and stuff like that.
You're right.
I could be completely thinking about something else.
I'm pretty sure you were right, but honestly, I'm at like an 80%. You're right.
But yeah, like you said, like if it blends right in and it fits with the game, like you don't even. It doesn't even like we just played BioShock and like I remember some of those old timey tunes, but like the music that's in the game, like I couldn't tell you what it really was. But so nice. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I it's on Game Pass and it takes 6 hours, so definitely drop in there, go check it out.
For sure.
Get through the first like blue key area, and then you'll probably be hooked, and that's not very long. So that's my recommendation.
You can crush it in a weekend or even a day if you're so inclined. So nice.
Penniless, Lord Faraday could not endure the misery of his people. He and his men set sail. After weeks at sea, a great storm. This is where our endeavor began. Faraday scoured the Isles for his maroon crewmen, where he found a cursed harpoon of legend. His terrible new power in tow. Faraday continued the search for his crew, which is how he found Lady Olija. He knew nothing of her royal line. She came to find him in her service, and he returned the favor in kind. The world around them remained cursed. Something unlocked. He pledged himself, but not just to her crown. The darkest reaches of her rule found themselves igniting. Many small discoveries led the tides to reverse their course. This remained their secret.
All right. Well, it's down to Eric, and it is down to me.
Flip that coin.
There it is. Oh. Nope. And it landed on Eric.
Oh,
We'll
it
let
landed on me.
you
Oh,
go first.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll be
I did
the gracious host.
I did extra credit this week. I played 3 indie games for this episode.
Whoa.
They were all relatively short. The longest one was 2 hours, so I wasn't killing myself getting through these, but there was a couple that I saw that came to Game Pass that I wanted to check out, that I've heard about, that I've wanted to get to and kind of elevate a little bit. And then one of them is kind of a weirder random one. I'll get to that one last, that you probably haven't heard of at all. The first two, well, the first one, this one's on Game Pass. It was released in 2020, October 7th, 2020, published by Graffiti Games and developed by Snoozy Kazoo, which I love that name.
That's a good name.
This is Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which is also one of the greatest names for a video game ever.
Saw that.
I've been hovering over that one.
Dude, it's worth it. I'm doing these in descending order. So this is the longest one I played. And by longest, it's only 2 hours long. So it's super, super short. And I would definitely recommend playing through it. The closest analog would be like a Zelda type, like a top-down, like Link to the Past sort of Zelda adventure-y type game. It has like pixel-y graphics. I feel like the art style doesn't necessarily stand out, but the design of like the characters is kind of what stands out. I mean, the title,
you're Turnip Boy.
As the title implies, you are Turnip Boy. Yes. And also, as the title implies, the main hook of the game is that you commit tax evasion. So like the first scene of the game, you get this letter in the mail that's like, Turnip Boy, you owe $150,000 in taxes on your house or something. And the only option to interact with this letter is to rip it up. So you rip up the letter, and then you're basically you're on the hook for this tax evasion. And then Mayor Onion kind of is starting to hound you. He's like, well, if you're not going to pay taxes, you're going to do all these menial tasks for me. So that's kind of the main hook of the game, is you're doing all these different tasks. There's a lot of like fetch questy type stuff. So I mean, you do get like a sword. You know, there is some like Zelda references. So I think they kind of knew what they were doing.
Is there actual combat?
There is combat. It's nothing to write home about. Like, I would say that's probably the weakest part of the game, if I had to say anything. Like the combat, I mean, it's very slow. You just kind of stab your sword, and that's about it. You pick a direction, stab at the enemy. I think the quirky like humor, and just the fact that you're living in this world inhabited by sentient vegetables is kind of the most interesting thing. Some of the humor in the game, I feel like, is probably not for everyone, but a lot of it got me. Some of it I rolled my eyes at, but it's kind of like internet meme humor type stuff, which some of that stuff, you know, I'm okay with. Some of it is kind of whatever. Didn't land on everything. Like there's an in-universe game called Fork Fight, which is obviously supposed to be Fortnite. Yep. And then there's like this streamer that you meet. Her name is Slay Queen 32. And you gotta like, you gotta get her. This was actually kind of funny. Like on Twitch, whatever, you do there's like tiers of subs and stuff. So the task that you had to do for her is you had to get her a tier 3 sub, but it was from a sub shop. So you had to go buy her a sub and give it to her. And that's how you progressed on that part. So that was, yeah. I can see how some of the humor in this game wouldn't land for everybody. But I feel like a lot of it, you know, it was cute. It was charming. You could tell that there was kind of a lot of heart put into this game. The story, I feel like, is pretty interesting. I won't give away a lot. It kind of goes in a bit, I guess, of a darker direction than I was expecting it to go.
Oh, really?
Darker than tax evasion?
Yeah.
The darkest of darks?
Yeah, so there is a good underlying story, which I won't give away, because I know it's kind of a fun little thing to discover. But yeah, I think it's fun. It's definitely worth your 2 hours. And it
sounds like a fun little game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is like fetch questy type stuff. Like I was saying, you talk to this person, you go get them this thing, and then you go back and give it to them.
Is it a play with your kids? Would your kids think it's funny?
Yeah,
like that kind of
stuff?
I
think that's like the perfect situation to play this game.
Okay.
Like young kids, I think they would eat up the humor in this game for sure. And it's super easy. The controls are super easy. Like I said, you basically just have your directional buttons, and then the main mechanics are, I mean, you have a sword, you have a watering can, which you can like water like different plants, and like I don't know, there's like portal plants, and like you grow things to get different items and stuff. So it's not super complicated. You're not switching between a ton of different items or anything. So yeah, I think that's kind of the perfect situation played in, and it's on Game Pass, and it's 2 hours long. So I think it's worth your time for, you know, an evening, late night evening, don't know what to play.
This is why we have Game Pass, to play games like this.
Yeah,
I was looking
exactly.
at the while you're talking, I was looking at pictures of this game, and it looks like Super Nintendo, Legend of Zelda.
It's charming. It's
graphics.
Cute. Yeah,
I want to play it solely based off of that, and then I can probably tolerate the humor, so I might have to.
The only thing I will say, for some reason, my save kept getting messed up. I mean, I played it in like, I don't know, three separate sessions, and I lost like, I don't know, probably like 20 minutes worth of progress a couple times because they have an auto save, but it doesn't seem to work correctly.
Quick resume.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you can use quick resume if you have a Series X or S.
Sure.
But like I saved and quit the game, and then when I restarted it again the next day, I was like 20 minutes back from where I left off. So I was
lame.
I don't know what
what
was going on there, but it's super quick. Like the main thing that takes the most time is the like, I mean, there's not a ton of dialogue, but you're talking to all these different characters, you're getting little tidbits of information and everything. But if you just, you know, A button through all that stuff, it's super quick to kind of blow through things. So
okay.
But that was fun. That's worth your time. Another one on Game Pass that came recently was a Memoir Blue. This was released March 24th, 2022. Developed by Cloisters Interactive and published by Annapurna Interactive. I mean, pretty much anything published by Annapurna, I really want to check out. They publish high quality games. I mean, What Remains of Edith Finch is one of my favorite indie games to date still. So
I didn't know that's who made this. I didn't know
they
that.
published it. They published it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is on. Oh, I didn't say. Turnip Boy is on Nintendo Switch, Windows, and Linux, and Xbox. Obviously, it just came to Game Pass. Memoir Blue is pretty much on everything: Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X and S, and Windows. This one takes only an hour to complete, very quick. But it's more of definitely an interactive experience rather than a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like point and clicky type. Not even really. You're just interacting with these vignettes for each scene. Like you're doing little interactions just to kind of get to the next story beat. So it's really all about the story. The story is the highlight here. Like it's not, I guess I wouldn't call it a walking simulator. I'm not sure. I guess it's like an adventure game. But it's a very narrative experience. It kind of tells the story of the relationship between a mother and daughter. But it's all sort of through these abstract metaphor type deals. Like
I was gonna say, this looks pretty trippy.
It is pretty trippy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's like a journey through. It's very much like a journey through a dream-like sequence. And that's I think that's kind of what the game is trying to convey. I don't think this is a major spoiler. This happens within like the first 5 minutes of the game. But like you're this woman who
it's an hour.
Yeah, it's an hour long. But you're this woman who is basically, I mean, she's an Olympic athlete. She's winning all these. She has like tons of trophies and medals in her apartment and everything. So like swimming is a big part of her life, which you kind of find out why as you go through the story. But she's just relaxing in her apartment one day and she falls asleep on her couch, and this is kind of what triggers your whole journey through the game. So the entire thing is kind of like a dream sequence, and it's telling this complicated mother-daughter relationship story, and it does get pretty emotional towards the end. And like I said, it is an hour long, so I don't want to give too much away because the story is really the only thing here. The gameplay is, I mean, like I said, you're just doing these little interactions really as a means to an end to get to that next story beat.
Is this voice acted?
No.
Or are you just reading?
This is all, you're not even reading. They do it all through like visuals, like little cutscene vignette type things. And the use of music is really nice. Like there's some beautiful music, beautiful visuals. So it's very experiential, I would say. It's a nice narrative experience.
Do you know if I mean, it's called a Memoir Blue. Do you know if the creator, if this is supposed to actually be some sort of memoir at all?
That's a good question. I didn't look too much into it. I don't know if this is like the developer's own story. I don't know too much about Cloisters Interactive, but it does. I get that feeling that
Feels
it is
personal.
a very like personal game. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of really all I had to say about that, mostly just because I don't want to give too much away.
Mhm.
If you're interested and that makes you interested, I would say play it. Like I said, it's an hour of your time, and it's on Game Pass. Like I said, perfect for that.
Did
Bite size, nice.
any of y'all play Before Your Eyes whenever it came out?
No, but I really, really want to play it.
Before You Rise. I don't know if I heard that one.
Don't look it up.
Okay.
Do you? I mean,
See
I
it?
was gonna say, do you even want to tell them the gimmick of it?
Well, yeah, the gimmick of it is that it watches your eyes using your webcam camera. It has eye tracking, and as you
Wow.
blink, it'll move you to the next scene. But it's going through someone's experience, right? And you're seeing it through their eyes, and you're seeing sort of their experience. And every time you blink, you move. And so I'll just give you a quick example. There's an early moment where you're like with your mother, and it feels very warm and very comforting and very sweet. And then you blink and you're just pushed out into the world kind of thing. Not literally. But it's not a birth metaphor, but the idea is that and so every time you blink, you're trying to like hold on to a scene, but then you'll blink and you'll lose it, or you're trying to like blink through a scene to get through it because it's so upsetting. Just talking about a very personal sort of feeling experience. That is one of the most personal feeling stories that is about an hour and a half long. And it kind of has a lot of that super abstract. There is like voice acting and there's storytelling and stuff around it. It's not completely surreal, abstract storytelling, but it has that feeling throughout. And that's just my quick 2 cents other indie game that I was reminded of that I absolutely would recommend.
Super cool.
But the thing about it is any spoiler for that game, I feel like gives away far too much of that game.
Right.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah,
That's probably PC only, I'm assuming, since you have to have a webcam.
Yeah,
to play
that's true.
that, so.
Maybe
Nice.
PlayStation 4.
But
something like that. But yeah.
I doubt it's very demanding either. So I think even
Right.
like a laptop would be able to run it. It seems very low performance.
Well, speaking of a laptop being able to run a game on PC, that brings me to my last game. This game, I mean, I have a 6-7-year-old laptop that I used in college, and it ran this game just fine. This game is called How Fish is Made. And yes,
How is fish made?
this was released earlier this year, January 14th, 2022. It's interesting because the publisher of this game is Future Games, but Future Games is actually a game development school in Sweden. And they foster a very studio-like environment for their students to make games, and then they publish it under this Future Games label. So that's really cool. It's kind of like it's a student project,
Animation workshop kind of thing on YouTube. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, it's really cool. So the developers, there's 3 of them. They're just named. It's Johanna Kasarinen. I hope I probably butchered that. Jeffrey Tomek and Martin Halden. So it's 3 people behind this. Super quick. This one is only about 20 minutes long to get through. And this was one of the most interesting experiences with a game that I've had in a long time. It's free on Steam. I think it's only on Steam right now. You might be able to find it in other places, but I played it for free on Steam. And it's very like This also, Brandon, like you were saying, this is low poly, probably more equated to like PS1 graphics. But you're basically just a fish. You're a sardine, and the only thing you're doing in this game is flopping down like you're in this like industrial like fishery, but it's also like this weird like, I don't know, gastrointestinal tract. It's very weird. This one as well, I don't want to give away too much. It's only 20 minutes. So if you got a computer that can run, I don't know, freaking Doom, I'm sure you could run this game. But it's an experience for sure. The only object of the game is to make a choice, and that choice is up or down, and you make that choice at the end of the game. Again, I'm trying to talk around it, so
down, of course.
Yeah.
Duh.
I'm thinking about the gastrointestinal tract thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if I would want to go down. I think I'd rather go up.
Well, all the fish you talk, the main interaction with the game is you're flopping down these hallways, talking to different fish that you come across, and they're kind of making their own pitches of like, oh, choose up. This is why you should choose up. This is why you should choose down.
Cool.
This fish is wrong. This is blah 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 blah. So yeah, that's kind of. I'm really trying to talk around it so I don't give away anything. This might sell you on the game. There's a tongue eating louse that does a musical dance number. So that is absolutely worth seeing.
You were right. I'm sold.
It's got on Steam. It's got overwhelmingly positive reviews.
Yeah,
it's over 600, and it's
it's something.
How'd you find this? Did you just go to like high rated indie games on Steam?
So you're gonna say he was high. And he just found this game.
I came across this on MinMax actually.
Okay.
They did like a random Steam games, and this was on one of them. And then Jacob Geller was also talking about this game as well. So that's kind of how I heard about it, and I heard that it was a very interesting thing worth experiencing. So I decided to give it a whirl, and it is something. One thing I wanted to note here is there's a mature content description. This is branded as kind of like a horror game. It's not really scary, but it's very unsettling. But the mature content description by the developers is there's some graphic fish violence, trypophobia, which is the fear of like holes, but in a honeycomb shape in a specific pattern.
Yeah.
So there's
that. I heard about that.
Yeah, trypophobia inducing imagery, and
don't ever Google image that, please.
No, but this is the kicker, and just a pinch of cum.
Oh,
You'll get that when you play it. Because I'm unsold. I don't. Anyone who says you'll get a pinch of cum when you play it, I'm not.
It is worth experiencing. Yeah, I don't really want to say anything else about it, just in case people want to check it out. But it was something.
Free on Steam. You can't argue with free.
It's free on Steam. It's literally 20 minutes of your life.
I just downloaded it. So
it's
added to my playlist. Yep.
It's something. I really want you guys to play it and then come back to me and tell you what you think, and then we can talk about it. But
nice.
That was all I had.
Nice. All right. I guess I'll round us out. For my indie game, I dipped into the Xbox pool as well. I played Chinatown Detective Agency. Came out in April of 2022. So, what, a month ago? 2 months ago? It was developed by General Interactive Company, published by Humble Games, which I always love buying stuff on Humble Bundle because I feel like I like adjusting the sliders. Give the devs a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a little pinch. But this is all right. We were talking about old people earlier, before we started this act. Do you younger guys remember where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know
a little bit.
I know what it is, but I don't like.
No, not one of the young guys.
I don't really. I've never played it, I guess I should say.
Okay. So back before the internet, there was a game called Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? And this chick would go and steal like the Eiffel Tower or something, and you'd have to like solve these clues to go and find her and say, "Give us the Eiffel Tower back," and then you'd bust her.
Carmen Sandiego is an international terrorist. I don't.
she
Yes,
really
she was.
is. She's a horrible person.
Like the Avengers need to take her out.
But they can't
She can
find
take
her.
a
They
fucking
can't
building.
figure out the trivia questions.
I know.
Who knows? Yeah, they've never
Pyramids
found
gone. Stonehenge gone.
her. She's brutal. So this is a point and click adventure game. Just came out. It is in the pixel, I guess the animated pixel graphics kind of look and feel. This takes place in the year 2037 in Singapore. You are a Detective Amira Dharma, who just was a police officer. She went and formed off her own private investigator firm, the aptly named Chinatown Detective Agency. Is not very creative with your naming of your company, but so like, you know, the first start out, you get a referral and you got to go try and solve these crimes. So if you're looking at the screen, the left column of the screen is your phone, and it is always on the screen, your phone. So you get you get messages, you can call people, you can do stuff. At the bottom of the screen, you have your clues. You can wait, you know, if you need to pass time, because a lot of the missions are time based, or you can actually literally just fail missions and completely fuck up pretty bad.
Damn.
And then like you have like a travel itinerary. So it's called Hours in this game, where you like use basically buying plane tickets to fly to wherever you need to go. And one of the weird things about this game is that it fully understands what it is, and you are trying to solve these crimes, but you are expected to use the internet. Like it is impossible to play this game without it. Like on the PC version of the game, there's a button at the bottom that says web, and it literally just opens up a web
That's the
browser
most
for you.
interesting part of the game to me. Yeah.
Which is so like that incorporation of it is interesting. I played with my wife a little bit last night, and she was my side Googler while I was playing. Like, and, you know, I needed something Googled. I need to look up Sumerian tablets and all this. Like, there's some crazy shit that goes on. So you start out, you do these 3 little small missions, bite-sized things. It's very, 2037 in Singapore. It's very cyberpunky kind of, you know. It's like a noir film. Everything's very dark, shadowy, lots of neon stuff. You know, you have your little agency, which is kind of your home spot, and then you can travel via subway through all these spots within the city where, you know, you can go to places and meet up with people. Hilarity ensues. And then there's the airport, which you can fly to other cities. So like the top right of the screen basically is, you know, you can walk around in rooms, or if you go to a different part of the city, you can pick like different areas that you want to go to. So
Dave, did you ever play like King's Quest or Police Quest
all
games?
the time?
Right?
Absolutely.
I played this game. I forgot I checked this game out. I got to the tree where the weirdo was at the tree.
Yeah.
It's early in the game, but
got
it played like
voice acting.
that.
Yeah. The voice acting isn't bad. It's not completely voice acted, which kind of bugged me. Some parts you go for chunks with reading, and I couldn't tell if the game was bugged or if they just didn't have, you know, voice actors for this part. But I'm trying to think of a specific like cool mission. Like, so when you're doing the tutorial missions, you go to like this. It's like this weird church cult kind of place, and you know the cult leader died, and his son wants to get rid of some of his dad's stuff. So he's like, "All right, I found these fucking stamps. Like, figure out where they're from and where they go." And all you have is just 2 stamps and like little pixelated things, and you can tell by maybe the marking of the stamp. Like if it was a used stamp, you get like the post office stamp on the stamp. So you can tell what city it's from, but you basically have to like Google like whatever words you can find on the stamp to try and figure out what country it's from. And after you find and I Googled it, and it was like a stamp from Greece, and you can see all these old. So I'm learning about Greek stamp collections as I'm playing this game, which is insane. And then you have to go to the airport, travel to the city, or travel to Greece, drop off the things. You have like a little interaction with the person at the museum, fly back home, you get your money, and then you do like another step of the case. So
okay, it's cool.
A lot of them are
real detective, Dave.
It really like you're breaking into people's offices and like the password on their computer. They're like, you got to hurry. This is one of the timed missions. Like this person's coming back in, you got to break into their computer, and it's like, my password is the longest river in China, and you're like furiously Googling as fast as you can to like try and find out, stuff like that. So
I can't even imagine
cool.
the QA process that they went through on this game.
Yeah,
like getting to find these people who get to find the right answers, like just to make sure that it's solvable.
And there are some I'm going down internet rabbit holes of like, this stamp was written in Japanese, but this was when Japan controlled China for a few decades in this era, and then they were wiped off. So I flew to China thinking I was going to the right place, but no, that was when Japan was ruling in China for a certain area.
Wow.
So, just like all sorts of weird, cool stuff. Some of the puzzles are fucking tough.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Like it could get obscure a little bit,
So that's the one thing that's kind of nice is as you're like Googling stuff, like the walkthroughs are starting to trickle into the Google feeds as like the game is getting more how-tos out there.
Like why else would you be trying to figure out when Japan was ruling this portion of China in this one region in this area?
Right.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, it's super cool how they kind of built in like internet puzzles and they built them into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you're literally just traveling around and solving puzzles. I have to admit, I didn't finish this game. I'm probably 70-80% of the way through it. I've got a good handle on it. Like, for instance, one of the puzzles, and this is just if you're worried about Chinatown detective agency puzzles, you can just skip ahead 30 seconds. But you're getting like Sumerian tablets from an unrecognizable body from a drone that is blowing up buildings and shit like that. So you have to figure out that it's written in Sumerian text, and then translate it from Sumerian, which is kind of nice because they have a built-in hint system into the game. There's a librarian that you can find, and if you give her some money, she'll like give you, hey, this is written in this, and this is what you should do with it, and this is where you should go to figure this out. I was going to
ask you about if there's a hint system. I feel like you need that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you choose it, you can either get a hint or you can get the solution for the puzzle. So if you only want a little push in the right direction, it gives you that, which is cool. But like, you eventually have to like find a code for a safe, but like the numbers are written in Sumerian, so you have to translate from Sumerian to numbers. But those numbers aren't the right numbers because the Sumerian texts are written in a septidecimal number system. So you have to multiply all of those numbers by 60 to get the real code. Like, Jesus. It gets fucking deep. It gets deep sometimes. Like that one, I
feel like I would need a YouTube guide or like some kind of guide to keep me going.
Internet. It's, and you Google it and you look around, and if you can't find it, you just scroll to the top and you find that one article that's like, this is how to fucking solve this puzzle in Chinatown. Yeah. So, yeah, it gets very noir-y, which, it's...
I think the artwork is fantastic. As you've been talking, I've been looking at all these photos, and I think part of the draw would be just seeing where you go, because the colors are all over the place.
The different vistas and
and the animation. Cool, it's like it's that look that I feel like Olija is probably the same thing. It has like that 2D retro late 80s, early 90s look. Yeah.
But it's got like the voice acting on top of it, which makes it, nice and updated a bit. Mm-hmm. I feel like this would be nicer to play on PC than having to type in on a controller, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But I don't like playing PC games. So this one it got a lot of mixed reviews. I could see why. I hit a bug or two, where I was supposed to listen to like an audio clue and the audio wasn't playing.
Oh,
Okay.
That's always a bummer.
which was a pain. But then that brought up the other issue of in the beginning, it's only saving the game after you're finishing missions. You can't save in the middle of a mission, which I feel like nowadays you kind of need to be able to stop whenever you need to stop when you're playing games, because you never know what's going to come up.
Right.
yeah.
So the saving was kind of an issue. And that bug, whatever, I just Googled it, or I called the thing. So, I mean, some of the puzzles are tough, but I think it's a cool experience to just like, once you get past like those first couple tutorial missions and you kind of figure out like how to play the game, that's the trick. Because when I first started it, I did not know that like you're expected to Google all of this stuff. I'm like talking to people and trying to figure stuff out and like all that, but
Just Google
it's
it.
like it's a piece of a poem, and you just need to know who wrote it. So you just Google the poem, and boom, their name just pops right up. So
I guess it makes sense because like in this world, you would have your phone with you to Google this stuff. So
I saw that it's 5.5 hours long on howlongtobeat.com.
I don't think that's because, well, I guess depends how much you're leaning on Google and how much you're leaning on guides, because
Well, it said up to 9 with extras.
yeah. So after you do the 3 tutorial missions, you choose which one of those people you want to work with. So
Okay.
you can go investigate some government corruption. You can go investigate somebody that got murdered in a business, or do some other shit. So you kind of choose your path, which way to go. And I think if you're playing it like full playthrough, you have to load that save back to after you finish the tutorial and then head down the other. That's kind of where it diverges, I guess. But there's little stuff built in. Like you can expand your office. You hire on some other detectives to work with you. Like if you're fucking up and traveling too much, you actually have to pay your rent and utilities every month. So if you're messing up and traveling too much, you're not going to have money to pay your bills and stuff like that. So you can definitely screw up a lot of stuff in here. But it's when we were talking about how like games like independent games, they take more chances and they do kind of weird out of the box ideas with stuff. Like this is something that
Oh,
I don't
absolutely.
think any other bigger studio could make. I googled the company. It was generalinteractive.co. It's literally 3 people that made this game.
Wow.
So they've made one game before called I pronounce this right, Terrier. It's a winemaking tycoon game. It looks like a hex based board game.
It's a big jump.
Came out in 2017, but yeah, and then they went to this, which was kind of crazy. So it's just the 3 of them. So I'm not going to put any onus on them for any bugs, because making games is very tough, and making it with 3 people is extremely tough. Fix the saving and you got me. So, but that one was interesting to kind of jump into, and it's definitely a taste breaker from playing BioShock and first person shooters and Overwatch. You jump into this, and this is like something completely different, which is cool. So I feel like I talked a lot there. I liked it, and hopefully it'll do well. Hopefully, I don't know. It's on Game Pass, so they had to have gotten a bit of money from there.
That's the best selling point you can have. It's on Game Pass. Go try it out.
Yeah.
The world is a scary place.
What are you doing, Philip?
These days, scarier than ever.
We're dealing with something serious here. I think you're the perfect asset to help us come to a conclusion.
First, a trade war. Then a real one. Then the collapse of government. And the slow death of law and order.
The misery could certainly be profitable for the both of us.
Know anything about that, Miss Nama?
After all the hopes and dreams of utopia. After all the promises of kings and revolutionaries. Here we are, at downfall's doorstep.
Certainly don't shy away from poking the haunted nest.
Not the best time to be alive.
You will go straight to hell!
Oh, shit.
But with a license to operate, a dingy little office in Chinatown, and a client with a problem that needs taking care of.
Welcome to my little kingdom.
Well, you can get by just fine.
So, what do you think?
The one I actually wanted to give a shout out to, and I want to hit it around the table real quick here. I wanted to play a game called Arcade Paradise, which is a arcade simulator game, but it's got spring 2022 as its release date, so it's gotten pushed back a couple times. It's another indie game where you inherit a laundromat and you turn it into an arcade, and you got to buy new games and
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. Do you guys have any other games you want to just be like, hey, play this game? Hey, this is a good one. You should check it out. Drops, quick round the horn, quick hits.
I'm really excited to play Norco. I've got it up next on my list. That one looks really good on
Norco,
Game Pass.
okay.
It's a point and click adventure.
Heard about that as well.
Looks like it's, if you like, shit, I forgot the name of it. The one where you're the detective and you're drunk and you have amnesia and you, damn it, never mind. It's another neo-noir. Oh, it's another like near future, Blade Runner-esque, dystopian. But it's a point and click first person. But as a quick little aside, a game that has a demo out that we played recently called Ziglox, Zigglox. It's 2 French developers. I got to play it with them and a couple other people, and it's a ton of fun, and you would never find it unless like you're looking on Twitter to accidentally stumble upon it, kind of thing, to the indie dev group. And I can't like praise it enough for how much of a fun like party game it is. You're just trying to build towers and you hit each other to take the blocks away from each other to build your tower, and it's a team-based thing. It's charming as all hell.
That sounds fun.
It looks like a Fall Guys kind of.
Yeah, it's just this silly, goofy, charming art style, and they absolutely nailed it for them just putting out the first demo of their game and having the full release like expected later on this year. It's free. I'd highly recommend going and checking it out and getting a group together and playing it.
Nice.
I do have a game. I have a game I've been chipping away a little bit here and there. It's called Top Run. I bought it real cheap. It's on Xbox, not on Game Pass, but it's awesome music. It's really fun visuals, and you're basically like Marty McFly kind of looking dude. You're just running, and you just run from the left to the right. And there's 3
endless runner.
It's like an endless runner, and there's 3 layers down, in the bottom, the middle, and the top, and you collect pellets or whatever. But you're dodging enemies and stuff like that, and it's just really silly. It's fun. The music is really good. So if you ever see this game,
looks like it's out on mobile too.
Oh, okay.
Apparently,
I like it, and I don't know. I'd like to just sneak it in and play it and. I don't know, unlock stuff, and yeah, Top Run.
All right,
it's by Fantastico Studio.
Eric.
So there's a game coming out this week. I think it's the 5th, so in like 2 days from this recording. That I wanted to do for the show, but it's coming out too late. Obviously, it's called Trek to Yomi. I don't know if you guys have seen this one.
Trek to Yomi.
It's coming to Game Pass day 1, and it basically looks like a 2D Ghost of Tsushima almost. I mean, that's a little reductive, but like it's a 2D side scroller in like ancient Japan, and it looks really freaking sweet. Like it's in that black and white Kurosawa art style as well.
I know what you're talking about, and I am
so
pumped because as I've been playing this Ghost of Tsushima, I saw that and I'm like, ooh. Mm-hmm. It's like a 2D version.
I'll be talking about that next.
Pretty,
I'll be talking about that next week. I'm gonna.
What's it called?
Trek to Yomi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Wow.
And
that's a lot of good stuff.
As far as joint communities go, we shouldn't forget about, of course, Charles McGregor's Hyperdot. Featured largely on
a fantastic game.
Man Max. It's a ton of fun.
It was on Game Pass. I think it's not on there anymore.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then which we did a little featurette thing where I interviewed him and we did a couple episodes on. But
plug.
but also I think additionally to that, Rich McLaughlin's Oppo Switch. If you're part of the Min-Max community, you know Rich McLaughlin. I'm pretty sure he's still part of the community. And he made an Xbox game that you have to actively search for on the Xbox dashboard. So it's pretty tough to find it. It's just an on-off switch puzzle game. But it's $5 and it's, someone from the community. It's
cool.
And it's always nice to support. Oppo Switch.
It sounds like it would be on Switch.
Right.
I hope he brings it there someday.
Yeah, he developed it specifically for the Xbox because they had a really solid open platform for indie devs, and apparently the Switch is real tough to.
I'm surprised.
Convert. Right, because of how many indie games are on the Switch and how much, honestly, shovelware is on the Switch.
That's why I don't like their store experience.
Yeah,
all the shovelware.
The store is brutal.
I hate it. It's not filtered at all. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, yeah, that was a lot of indie games.
Good talk.
Good talk
about indie games.
Hope everybody that listened this far has got a list written down in front of them, and they're just gonna go play a whole bunch of games.
We should put all of the games we mentioned in the podcast description, so people don't have to, search for them. We'll make sure to do that.
Just the names, not the links.
Yeah, just the names.
Yep, that's all. Nice. All right, well, let's cut it here. We've been talking too long. We're going to come back and play a game of video game 20 questions right after this. Hello, and we have returned for Act 3 of our episode, where we're going to play a little bit of video game 20 questions. You like that one?
Yeah, a little lost in here.
Whatever.
All over.
It's been a long episode.
Yeah, it's getting late. We're playing video game 20 questions, where you guys ask questions, and I tell you yes or no. That's pretty much it. You got 19 and a guess. So, why don't we get started?
Was this game, this is always my first question, was this game released before the year 2000?
No, it was not released.
Okay.
Before the year 2000.
Would this game be considered an indie game?
Ooh, good question. Meta.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would say this is an indie game.
Nice. Play the meta game.
Well, is that sorry? Damn it!
Nope. It's already been asked and answered.
Well, yeah, I just want to be more. Never mind.
Can you play this game on the Nintendo Switch?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Is this originally an NES game?
What kind of question is that?
No, it's not.
What?
NES
Why?
game.
Why?
It's an indie game on Switch. Why would it be an NES game?
Because Switch has a lot of retro games on it.
Why would it be an indie game on
Well, it was
NES?
made after or released after 2000, right?
Yeah. What are you talking about? That was a burner question.
Whoops.
Nah.
I should delete this part.
Listen, you're the editor. You can do whatever you want. Ooh, all right. Now I kind of want to
You got 4 in.
Focus on genre here. Is the main action of the game killing things?
That's good.
I would say no.
No.
That actually completely narrows, takes away a lot of my guesses.
Could be well, I was going to say it could be a Stardew Valley, but you do kill things, but that's not the main action of the game.
Did this game come out after 2015?
Original release?
Ooh, well, that's kind of a clue.
Yeah, sure.
It was before 2015.
Okay. So it was clearly re-released. Possibly. I mean, that supports like
maybe
a Stardew Valley. Like it's on Switch, but it was originally released for PC.
Technically, yes.
Okay,
Let's see.
you can play it on Switch. Indie game. Doesn't focus on murder.
Not on NES.
No, it wasn't originally on the NES.
Yep. Did we cover single player, multiplayer?
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Yeah, go for it.
Does it have any form of multiplayer or co-op in it, Dave?
I am going by what the Wikipedia says. It says it has multiplayer.
Stardew's still in the running.
Stardew Valley came out in 2016, original.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Not in the running.
Which, yeah, that was crushing to me because I was really on that train.
And this is a Switch exclusive? Is that what we're thinking?
No, not exclusive.
It's just
I
on
think
there? Like,
I
could
think
this
it
be
was.
on
I think it was
PS4?
like a originally released on something Steam or whatever, and then came to Switch later. Would you say this game has pixel art graphics?
No.
No. Okay, that's good to know.
God, is this game?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions asked.
It wouldn't be. Is this game available on Xbox? Wait,
Yes,
hold on.
It is.
Oh.
Nope. Clarify. What do you got?
I was going to say Xbox Series X, like more specifically, because it.
Oh. I don't see Series X on here.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
What
not original Xbox. It's got to be Xbox One.
Right.
You could play it on.
It says
I'm
Xbox
sure you could
One.
play it on Series X.
Yeah.
I guess.
It doesn't have a specific release for Series X. I could clarify.
Okay.
For you.
All right. Yeah. That makes more sense. So it's a more modern game.
Mm-hmm.
No pixel art.
Right.
Ooh.
I feel like the indie.
This was before 2015.
Monikers throw me off.
Before 2015 is interesting because I feel like that was early in the days of the indie craze.
Is this a Western-made game?
Good question.
I believe so. Let me just click on the developer and see where they're from. No, this is not a Western game.
Ooh.
But it's a developer that's a little bit ambiguous.
Developer that is.
I'm guessing it's like Europe,
not Western.
European.
Oh man,
I never even thought about where it was made. It's a good question.
I'm trying to think.
Indie
game.
Let me write that down. Yeah.
It does narrow it down a lot that you're not killing things a lot in this game.
You guys are halfway through. You got 10 questions.
Shit.
Because the main games I'm thinking of are like roguelites and stuff.
Yeah,
like
me
that.
too. I keep coming back to like Bastion. And
yeah, I'm thinking like
that.
Wait, hold on. What's the gameplay? What's the gameplay we know? What is this? Is this top down? Is this third?
We don't know the
we haven't
genre.
asked that, yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't know the perspective. Yeah, 2D perspective would be helpful.
I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I've been thinking.
They said it's not, or they said
third person.
Dave said it's not pixel graphics,
right?
So, but like,
and that it doesn't involve. I mean, you can kill, but that's not the main aspect of the gameplay. Is not
what's that?
Killing.
Oh, what's that game? It's like one of the original indie games, not Braid. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Is this game a platformer? I gotta ask.
As far as like a genre,
Is it? Yeah. Are you doing a lot of platforming in this game?
Yeah.
I'd say no.
No. Okay. Well, that takes out Braid.
Man. Is this game first person?
Yeah, that's a good. I was just gonna ask that.
No, this is third person.
Damn it!
Oh,
you just gave us a freebie there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Then I was thinking like Stanley Parable, but that just blew my theory out of the water.
Third person game.
Wow,
no combat.
So it's not. Wait, did we ask the 2D or 3D perspective? I feel like that would help.
What? It's third person.
Well, I guess third person.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's third person behind the back.
Yeah, but I don't know if you would say third person for a 2D game. You know?
Yeah.
Like technically, it is third person.
Just means you're not looking through the person's eyes.
That's I think. I don't know if Dave would. Yeah. I don't know if it's a burner question, but is this game a 2D from a 2D perspective?
No, you already asked this question. I thought.
No, we didn't.
You asked if it's pixel art. Isn't that close enough?
No,
to, like, 2D?
But I also feel like if it was 2D,
hand-drawn.
it would have platforming, right? Like what 2D game doesn't have platforming?
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm just thinking, what 3D behind the back third person indie games are there?
The game I picked, State of Mind, was exactly that. That was third person.
Is this State of Mind? No.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
there's not many of those.
Oh no, that's pixel art. Shit, thinking Terraria.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like we've narrowed it down a lot, but
do we know if this game is? I mean, it's got to be popular enough. He wouldn't pick a game that we couldn't at least have a chance at getting.
Oh,
do we want to ask?
Wait, hold on. We're not thinking of like. Well, he did say third person. I was gonna say it could be like a puzzle game, but I feel like he wouldn't say third person if it was a puzzle game.
A driving game would technically be third person,
right?
Is this game more cartoony, kind of like what
Good question.
Mario is? Like that's kind of cartoony.
Just like realistic art direction. Is it a realistic graphic style?
Like,
yeah, is it realistic graphics? Are they trying to go more realistic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Third person.
Ooh,
Realistic.
This
non-combat indie game.
Is this on Game Pass? This might not mean much in the future, but currently,
I'm going to be mad if it is because that was an early question I was going to ask, and I was just I kept holding off on it, and so like if it is, man, that would have narrowed things down so well.
Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, what the fuck?
But it's available on Switch, right? I got to keep coming back to that as well.
Yep, it's available on Switch.
Third person's realistic, made not in the United States.
Yes, this is on Game Pass.
What the wow?
Okay.
Holy crap! This should be easy.
Is this a walking simulator? Should we ask that?
But is it third person?
Is there any that you can think of that fit
Firewatch?
But that's first person.
First person.
Oh yeah, that's right. And it's artsy, yeah, cartoony.
Okay,
it's on Game Pass. I feel like that should be.
It's a cheating.
That
question.
Should be a gimme.
That's a cheater.
What? Why?
Through 14 questions, you got 5 questions and a guess.
It's got to be like. Oh, damn
it's
it.
An
no,
indie game.
I was going to say The Witness, but that's first person.
Yeah. And like I keep coming back now. I'm getting stuck in like the Assassin's Creed franchise, which that wouldn't be.
I know. Yeah.
You guys didn't ask that.
Yeah, but it's not indie, right?
No.
That little indie game, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
God,
Okay, wait, hold on a second. What about those origami or whatever, the Shadow Ninja games?
Nobody knows those freaking games.
And that
I love those games.
I don't think those came out before 2015, right? Like,
No, that too. I don't think.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this game part of a franchise? No, that's stupid. With an indie game, probably not, right? They don't make.
I don't
they
know.
make one and then they go on.
I don't hate that
Is
question.
that a question?
I
or
like
is
that
it-
question.
know.
I'm okay with that.
It's an out loud thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt stupid as I was saying it.
I can't even think of any like 3D indie game, third person, that don't focus on combat. Besides like a puzzle game, but it doesn't sound like a puzzle game to me.
And what racing game would there have been that would have been indie that would be on Game Pass?
Just think of other genres as like, I mean, like strategy.
No, they were Western. I was thinking XCOM and stuff like that, but they're Western.
Right. I thought about that earlier, but
Does this game take place like on current day Earth?
That's a question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that was lucky.
What
How many
this could have
questions
been
we got left?
timepiece. Could have been.
Yes. 13,
Space.
14. That was question number 15. So
Oof,
4 left.
getting close.
This is insane.
Modern day Earth. Yeah.
There's someone listening and screaming right now.
Oh yeah.
I know.
You got it. Yeah. Pre-2015 is so interesting to me, and it's on Game Pass. If it's pre-2015 and on Game Pass, like this
Ooh.
must be a highly regarded game.
It could be
It's a
one of the
360 game, though.
Yep, that's what I was going to say. It's one of the 360 games that is.
Telltale.
Sneak King. No.
Sneak King is good. Love that.
Yeah.
Telltale's a good
Burger King game.
pull, Brandon. That got me thinking. That's not that. Telltale.
That's not
be
realistic.
considered
Those
indie?
those are artsy.
And not artsy. Yeah, that's not realistic. That something like that though. That's a good.
Yeah, they had a comment.
It's a good pull.
I kind of just want to like refine the genre a little bit more.
Now I'm thinking it's like a narrative, it's got to be like a heavy narrative game, right?
Yeah, like a narrative
Like
adventure style or something.
Like a Heavy Rain, not Heavy Rain, but
Right.
something like that, you know. Like
But it's on Game Pass.
narrative
It's so good. It's
driven.
on. It was so good on 360. They put it on Game Pass.
And your main thing is not killing people. I can't think of a
I
single
mean,
game on game.
pre 2015 doesn't necessarily mean 360, but
Yeah,
I mean, Xbox One came out in
13.
14,
Yeah,
13, yeah, something like
that's
that.
true. What the? What
Is
So
it?
glad I picked this game too. I was having a hard time picking this one out.
Oh boy.
Oi, oi, oi.
is?
Some form of co-op or multiplayer.
Do you guys need
in
a?
this?
Do you guys need
he
a-
said,
yeah,
he
he said there
was
is
multiplayer.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
What? the-
So he said there's multiplayer.
probably like a co-op. I
Yeah,
can't
is this
imagine
like-
it's
is this-
competitive.
Is this like a 4-player co-op multiplayer game?
Is that a question? I have to look
Or
this
maybe
up.
we should ask: is it competitive?
I can't imagine it is if you're not doing combat or anything, but
Oh,
you
right.
never know.
Oh, yeah. Let's be careful with our questions. Hold on a second. Yeah.
yeah, the multiplayer is interesting, which makes me think it's not a narrative.
Yeah, yeah.
Although
So if you're not killing things, then what are you
I was
doing?
gonna say, oh no, that's
That's
wait,
what I feel
what's
like we
that
should
game
narrow
that
down.
Dave loves, Telling Lies or whatever.
Oh, that was a good game. That was a good game.
Co-op though?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I love those FMV games.
Yeah.
They're fun as shit.
But
Would
that is not at all
that fit
what
the
this
bill?
would be. No,
No,
no.
no.
Is the multiplayer competitive? Dave?
From what I'm reading here, no.
So it's a cooperative multiplayer. without killing. That takes away racing immediately if it's not competitive.
Well, then I was just thinking like Rocket League, but that's not.
And it's not realistic.
And it's not on Game Pass.
That's true. So we need to, I think, refine what the gameplay actually is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not platformer. It's not murder. But it is co-op.
Brothers.
Ooh.
Is that on? I don't think that's on Game Pass.
I think it is.
Is it on Game Pass?
Is it? Is
it's
Brothers?
It's not third person, so don't listen to me.
What do you mean?
That's third person.
I think we're looking for a third person game, and that's
third person.
That's not realistic.
Oh, but it isn't realistic. Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
it's, I guess, arguably more realistic than others, but
yeah,
but that's multiplayer.
Is it actually multiplayer, or was
a
it the one where you had to use the
pull,
controller?
That one wasn't. Yeah, you were controlling each character on a thumbstick.
Oh,
I think that was single
so
player.
Technically, though, it can be multiplayer. Like, I think
if you're playing on one controller.
Yeah, if you want to be like, I bet their Wikipedia page would label them as multiplayer, right? Because I think that's a good deep pull. That is the closest thing we've.
No, yeah. I've been throwing out
definitely something like that, like
third person.
Is it a puzzle-based game? I guess puzzle focused, I should say.
I mean, are you solving puzzles and stuff to get, to progress?
I would say no.
Oh, fuck. We're fucked.
We're so fucked. What could possibly fall
if you're
under
not solving
all
puzzles,
of these
you're
things?
not killing anything, then you're doing a sport.
What are you doing?
Right?
It's a
simulator. It's a simulator. Right? What game do you walk around third person?
Yeah, and that's realistic.
Like Farm Simulator.
But it would have to be co-op.
2014 edition.
That would be pretty funny. Yeah, I keep thinking like Rocket League, but that's not it, obviously.
We're at like 17 questions, I think.
That was 17. You got 2 more.
Fuck, this is brutal.
Tick tock, tick tock.
I'm just gonna look at all the Game Pass games real quick.
Just gonna
scroll through all 400 of them.
Do we know if there's a story? Did we ask that question?
No. I don't think we've asked anything about the narrative.
Does this video game have a story to it, like a real proper story?
Yeah, is it narrative driven?
No.
Shit. Okay. So you're right. It is.
So it's definitely gameplay focused, but if the gameplay is not killing things, then what the fuck?
Bro, if it's Farming Simulator 2014, I'm gonna redact my promo from the middle of this.
You're sitting down.
Farming Simulator is pretty good.
You're playing this game.
I've been learning a lot about farming.
You're still playing that though?
Oh yeah, dude, my kid loves it.
Nice. Okay.
Man.
If you're not solving puzzles, you're not killing anybody, and you're not there for the story.
What are you doing?
But it's third person.
Yeah, you're not.
And it's not Western
puzzles.
Which a lot of simulators aren't Western. That is.
I mean,
a speedrunner. Are there third person speedrunners?
I was gonna say it's not. I was gonna say it's probably a walking simulator, but it's not narrative driven. Most walking simulators are narrative driven.
And speedrunners
aren't have
typically
a
realistic.
Gameplay loop that you just sneak in to play. You don't care about the story.
Is it like an NHL game? But it's not competitive, right? So it wouldn't be a sports game.
Is it like what's that? I don't know. Man,
Dave,
this is stumping.
His ears perked a little bit when we said something about Assassin's Creed. It seemed like he liked the parkour kind of maybe genre. we were thinking about. Is there anything where you're just constantly climbing over stuff and that's all you do?
All I'm thinking is Mirror's Edge, story? But that's first person.
Wait. N++ or whatever.
But that's not realistic.
No, that's not realistic at all. You're right.
Maybe to you it's not.
And it's 3D. Yeah, this is a 3D game.
One more question.
This is insane.
Rule them all.
It's on Switch. It's multiplayer.
Is that a
it's
hint?
3D, third person. Supposedly. I mean, we don't even know that 100%, but like, we're just inferring.
What if
based on our other questions?
I slipped. Yes.
Wait, what? Oh, right.
No, when he said
it was third person. Yeah.
What if it's The Sims?
It's not third person?
Isn't The Sims 4 or The Sims 3 available?
I don't know if The Sims is available on Switch.
I know The Sims 4 is. I don't know if The Sims...
It is?
Yeah.
I don't think it's...
Is EA an indie producer or an indie developer?
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right.
Jesus. That blows
Wah,
that
wah,
theory
wah.
out
Sorry.
of the water.
Okay, I'll give you that hint. Sorry.
EA. The smallest
they used to
ever.
be the indiest of developers.
Yeah.
Way back in the 80s.
Back before all the sports.
Yeah, I don't even have a game in my mind.
No, I've got nothing.
That this could be.
You guys just want to give up?
It's not third
Not
person.
giving up.
What is it? What's the camera view?
No, he did say it was third
Yeah, it is third person.
Yeah.
I said it was not first person.
Yeah.
And then I kind of may have slipped a little. Slightly.
And we asked if it was 2D, and he said no. Which I infer means it's 3D.
It's fucking wicked.
What about 4D?
Ooh.
You forgot about
Comes
that
out
fourth
the controller and
Shrek
holds your
4D.
hand.
Yep.
Let's
Is this Shrek 4D Universal Ride?
Well, speaking of which, why don't they have like smell things for games? Like you always have
Smell-o-vision.
Sounds horrible.
rumble packs.
Conker's Bad Fur Day, but with smell-o-vision.
Imagine, yeah. Ooh, some of those games would be rough.
I have no guess.
I really
honestly have
don't either.
nothing. I'm digging through every game I've ever played, and I can't find
I
any.
feel like this is like my
tell you this,
wheelhouse.
I think-
It's on Switch and Game Pass. I feel
I
like
think
should
you have
know.
all played this game too.
Probably.
I have.
I mean, you guys play a lot of games, but that
Like,
helps narrow
I don't
it
even
down.
have another question or direction to take our questions in.
Like,
honestly,
Yeah, it's on Switch and Game Pass.
Can you die in this
A
game?
home run.
Is that a question?
Yeah.
go for it.
Can you die in this game? Like your character, whatever you are, can you die?
It can die, yeah.
Ooh.
Not
Oh.
like not run out of fuel.
I don't want to
but-
give away anything there.
Okay.
It
All
can
right.
Die.
Guess the game.
We can die.
Cooperative. Hold on. Let's go back through every single one of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't want to give any hints. I want to win again because I think last time I did this, I won.
Indie, cooperative, maybe multiplayer, where you can die, but it's not. You're
It's a
not
vague
murdering.
multiplayer mode,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
sounds like.
Not platforms. It's 3D. It's realistic. Third person.
You guys were on the right track for a second or two there.
Hitman?
God.
Are those big games? I don't know who
No,
makes those.
Yeah.
But you,
iOS.
That's published by Square Enix, so.
Oh yeah.
so I'm really am thinking we're back in the It's got to be a simulator of some
Man.
sort.
I thought this was gonna be a quick game too.
Oh wow, yeah, this is a long one. Oh man.
Sorry, fam. Brandon cut this one down.
I'm just trying to think of every. I mean, I scroll through that Game Pass list like 100 times a day.
From here on out, I'm going to be reading them much closer, just in case. I have nothing.
Yeah,
I have nothing.
I think we're gonna be kicking ourselves because I don't have a guess.
All right, well, somebody take a shot.
Can I just give a hint?
Absolutely,
One hint,
yeah.
that's fine, sure.
We lose if we get it off this hint, though.
The simulator path was the right path.
Yeah.
Simulator path. Okay.
But if it's what
Is it like
simulator? So
fucking
I was right when I was
City
saying
Skylines or some shit like
That is a fucking good game.
that is a good game. I don't think it's
SimCity.
I don't think it's
Should've
pre
been.
2015.
that. Yeah. But something in that vein. I
Oh,
guess.
is it that trucker game, that logging
Bad Mother Trucker or Mud Runners.
Mud Runner.
Mud Runner?
Yeah, Mud Runner. That's
That's
a
like a
fun
good-
game, actually.
that probably came out much later, but
Yeah.
And
I
is it
don't-
available on Switch? I have nothing though, so
Yeah.
Mud Runners is just as good of a guess as anything I'm gonna
right?
have.
I mean, I'll give you what it's available on if you want that hint.
Sounds
Sure.
like a lot of things.
Windows, Linux, iOS, Android, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch.
Is
Okay,
it just
Mud Runner.
Minecraft?
Is it Mud Runner?
No, that wouldn't be
Not
Pixel.
Mud Runner. Whatever.
don't know.
Mud Runner is fucking good a guess as I have.
I mean, that is a simulator. No. What other simulators would they have on Game Pass?
Fucking Flight Simulator? I don't know.
That would be a good guess, but no.
Obviously not, since it's too
That's
new.
a Microsoft game. What
Yeah,
other
it's-
things can you simulate? Farming? No, it's not farming simulator.
Trucking railroad simulators. I'm just gonna go down the list of everything.
I can give you a good hint and it'll guess it.
Oh, God.
But
I mean, we already lost.
Yeah,
so
we've definitely
whatever.
lost one.
All right.
Yeah, we guessed. So
the main protagonist is not a human. He walks around on 4 legs. He
fucking
may-
Goat
he may
Simulator.
have a
Is it goat
Yes,
or
it
deer?
is
Or is it
Goat
deer
Simulator.
Oh my god!
that's not going for realistic graphics. I
That's
mean,
It kind of
is.
is, yeah.
It's set in
Yeah.
the real
It's
world. and
silly
set in-
Physics
It's
within
set
a
in the
realistic
real world. I was
graphics.
There's
not
They added in-
thinking this way.
multiplayer shortly after release. They put on 4-player split
Yep.
screen multiplayer.
Yeah,
I honestly don't think I ever
Which I
would have gotten there.
never played.
I
I
never.
don't think I ever
Yeah.
would have gotten there.
I don't think I would have gone.
I thought you guys were on it when I said it.
2015.
It's on Game Pass.
That's on Game Pass. I bought that game. I own that
Came out-
game.
Yeah, me too.
2014, Xbox came out 2015, PlayStation 2015, Switch 2019.
And you're right that we've all played it, and just
Yep.
Not
tried
a
it.
platformer.
I would not even
cartoony.
have thought about that. It's like
The
it's,
Goat
it's the
Simulator.
perfect 20 questions game because it's basically genreless. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
really have a genre.
It's like
True.
action is the genre that I was gonna. Yeah, I mean,
It's
that
just
would have
like a
thrown me off even
simulation,
more. Almost,
you know?
Yeah, like
yeah.
it's very indie. It was developed by Coffee Stain Studios, which is a Swedish video game developer based in Svodka.
Oh, no
Yeah.
shit.
By the-
That's cool.
so. Whenever you
I don't
say
know if I ever would have gotten there with like 40 questions.
no, I agree. I think so. I would always put Western
Not at the
as
top of
including
mind.
Europe, but I don't know if that's true. Like if it's a Western game versus an Eastern game, I generally just think Japanese versus like
I always think of them as 3 distinct, like
Yeah.
Like
America,
North America.
Europe, and
Yeah.
Japan. You know,
yeah.
but
Nice.
Man,
well, thank you guys
that
for
was rough.
Yeah.
for
you win
attempting
that one again.
to beat me at 20 questions again.
I hope someone out there was screaming "Goat Simulator" for 20 minutes. while they were listening to
Somebody
this.
I
knows
hope every
about
single
goats.
listener out there was like, fucking Goat Simulator? Never even thought of that
Right?
one because
I would not.
if you
have
thought
Right,
of that
maybe
one
kill that
before
in
question 10, you write in and you let us know
Yeah,
because that's
seriously.
absurd.
Nice.
nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com.
Hey, before we go, Preston, why don't you give a little shout out too?
What? Oh,
give me the hype track. Give me the hype track for the
It's been a long
for
one.
the old Level Zero podcast.
follow us at Level Zero Pod on all the follow things. Go find us on any of the podcast subscriptions. Find the Level Zero with the controller, not with the like little 2 salt guys. Don't worry about them. And then you can email us and let me know how dumb I was of it. 20 questions at hi@levelzeropod.com.
Oh, that's a nice email address too. All right, great. Well, yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff for a really long time, and I'm ready to get out of here. Has anybody got anything else to shout out?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Nope.
Bye.
All right.
Safe travels.
Safe
Nomads.
travels, Nomads.
Just trying to cut it off. Safe travels, Nomads. Get out of here.
Bye.
And safe travels.
See ya.